Indy entered our lives just as our pet. Certainly did not think he'd be in a movie. But as I was writing the story, I started making these little tests where I would film Indy kind of recreating scenes from The Shining or Poltergeist just to figure out how do you even use the camera with an actor who doesn't know he's in a movie to, convey that dread and tension and perspective and point of view that's so important. And yeah, it was years into figuring it out that we decided, okay, I think Indy could do this. We figured out a unique way to work with him, and I guess the rest takes us to this moment here. Silly noises were definitely involved. If you can imagine, there's a lot of shots in the film where Indy will enter a space and then he hears a strange noise, a floorboard creak, or maybe a shadow moves across the wall. The reality of that is incredibly silly. We do train Indy how to move from point A to point B, but then how to get that performance, biggest air quotes I want to put in the world, he does not know he was in a movie, was frequently Kari was hiding behind a coat rack or just off camera going and actually you were reminding me, we had to kind of have a Rolodex of silly noises to make to get those like head tilted, perplexed, vexed performances, because he would catch on to that. Well, if mom's quacking at me, that actually doesn't mean anything. I can ignore that.
And over 400 days, the trouble is he's so smart that we just kind of had to keep improvising and coming up with new sounds, because he was like, no, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's so funny. So he did have to get baths, which we tried to time those around when he genuinely needed them. Fortunately, again, we filmed over 3 years. But one of the moments that it always gets a big, oh, is Indy disappears for a while, and when he reemerges, he's covered in dirt and mud, and audiences, you can hear them going like, oh my gosh. And if you think about it for just a little bit, do you think it was hard to get a dog to roll around in mud? It was the easiest hair and makeup job in the history of movies. Just, turn on the hose, make a muddy patch in the grass, and let Indy go to town. There wasn't really a practical way to get another dog who looked like Indy, a real dog. We did have a stand-in. Yeah, if you want to see. So this is Findy, fake Indy, who I originally got as a way to maximize our day. I mentioned Indy only has a few hours of attention span. So, on a big movie, just to save Tom Cruise's time, they'll have a stand-in when they're setting up the lights, and then they fly that person out, and then the real actor comes in. I originally got Findy to be Indy's stand-in while I was setting up the lights and camera. I was also doing all of that on my own, essentially during the day, while Indy was probably napping and you were working a real job. And then when the sun goes down, it's time to actually shoot. We fly out Findy and then bring in Indy. So that was one way we could get a little bit more out of, Indy. And then also we found ways, there's some stunts in the movie that are accomplished by fake Indy rather than the real Indy. So we didn't have a second dog in the traditional sense, no. Hey, Indy.